Welcome to Contractor Fight Sales Podcast. My name is Derek Johnson.
It is. You love that microphone. It's finally working. I'm Tim Cutroni.
Finally,
So,
finally.
my friend, I know finally. It's always a battle. Technology. I get it. So, Derek, I want to talk about communication.
Ooh, my favorite subject.
Yes. Yep. It's just not just as matter like how to use words, have a big vocabulary, or how to communicate by beating drums or making sounds or snapping noises, getting somebody's attention, but communicating in a way that everybody understands what you're trying to get across, and not just hears you, but actually understands. I had a I have a client of ours. He's a heart surgeon, and I had first met him, and he was talking. He appreciated the way we communicated to all of our automations, texting, emailing, smoke signals, carrier pigeons, all that stuff. And what he said was that if people communicated better in the medical field, it would eliminate 90% of the lawsuits. I'm like, that is like, what? 90% of the lawsuits in the medical profession would go away if people knew
That's
how
a
to
big
communicate
number.
better. It's huge. You think about how many deaths there are, or surgery's gone wrong, or medications being given incorrectly, wrong dosages, or
Ooh.
mixed medications. All the stuff we have in the medical field. If people just communicated better. Now, in the medical field, we document. They document on paper. They put it in computers. They put it in your online portal for CVS or whatever you're using for what medications you're on. You have all these things to remind you of things. But somewhere along the line, things get miscommunicated and mistakes happen. I want you to speak, Derek, but I want to finish one thing, and I'm going to let you loose on this. I think, Derek, I feel that my company, we are fucking really good at communicating. We have all these automations. You know what they are. You're part of that because you want to see how it ran. Just to make sure that everybody's touched. Every week they get a newsletter from me. They know where we are. We're in front of mind all the time. They have multiple ways to text us and message us through different methods, right?
Yes.
So what happened this past winter was we had, meaning my son and I, had asked two of our guys to call all of our maintenance customers and ask them. And it was kind of scripted. We put it on a piece of paper exactly. Ask them, talk about these four things. And one of the questions was, what do you feel we fell short on last year that we could do better this year? And overwhelming response was communication. We don't communicate well.
Wow. What does well mean, though?
That's exactly it. So if you're quiet long enough and you don't overtalk a person, they'll share that information. So this is exactly what these guys are trained to. It's like, can you explain that a little bit more? Can you tell me more about that? And it was like, we didn't let them know within 24 hours that we were coming. We didn't give them notice. They didn't have time to put the dog away. All these things are just like the last minute communication. And we thought we were doing that. And we thought we were. And I can say, let's go after the person who's a schedule. Let's go after this person, because we had all these fail safes. Like the technicians, I've asked them to call the customer the day before. That wasn't being done because we talked about previously of processes and standard operating procedures. It just wasn't finalized, so everybody knew what their job was. Something that we thought we were the best at, because we were told that people were falling silent and not saying, hey, you know what? You guys really suck at fucking communicating with me. And it makes me angry. There's a standard that, right? There's a standard that they have that they want to be talked to in a certain way or told in a certain time period. So, Derek, I'll be quiet now and let you lay into this because I know you have things in your life similar to this in communicating.
Yeah, sorry, I was taking a note on what you said. And do they know is just what I wrote down that stood out to me, and I put an asterisk. Do they know? And what's next is the other thing that I think about all the time. So I'm taking this note, so bear with me here. I love the automation thing. And as we're talking about this, I'm realizing with my own team, and James and I went on we call them work walks, work hikes, And a lot
Mhm.
of times it's just, you know this, and I'm sure other people know. A lot of times I just need to walk, and I can just get things out of my head. And poor James, she has to she has to record or write all that stuff down as we're going. It's just how I work. And I'm realizing more and more and more that we're losing so much touch with our voice, and we're putting so many automations in place. It's getting difficult, but we have to bridge the gap between the two. But some people like to talk, and I like to hear the voice. And I was having a really, really tough conversation with a client, and he kept referring to emails and videos that he sent. And I just said, I just want to hear your voice, man. I need to hear the inflection and the tonality in your voice, because I can't read the tonality in your email that you sent to me, because all I'm reading is that you're very, very upset. So I need to listen to you. And we're on the
Mm.
phone for an hour and 10 minutes, and it was not good in the beginning. And he has some grievances, which I understand. We dropped the ball on some things, which frustrates me that 29 years in business that we're running into that. But it's not necessarily my fault, because I'm evolving, I'm growing, I'm getting better, and I have to teach and train my team to get better. But then we have new people that are not used to those things. So it's a constant training of getting everybody to get on the same page. We can have this very clear direction to where we're going, but it gets so finite. Like, that's the big thing, is like, this is where we're going in our company, this is what we want to achieve. But then you have all these little satellite, these little tributaries, if you will, these little fingerlings that go off, and you have to hit those things. And I'm realizing that we missed a couple of those things. My team missed a couple of those things. And about 45 minutes in, he said, "You're asking all the right questions." And I really do appreciate that. I feel better after we're going through this. And I said, "Thank you." And why is that? Because I've just spent a lot of time learning how to do this. And I'm proud of it, but it's kind of one of those things, like, it's not really, I need to be proud of it. It's like, I've got well over 10,000 hours. So do you, Tim, 10,000 hours of our Shin Fu sales process. And that's about communication. But what I'm learning is we have to do both. You still use our voices, but there's nothing wrong with automations, but we have to show up where they're at. So if you got a response from them that you don't communicate well enough, even though you thought you were communicating well enough, how wild is that? So we have to show up where they're at. And
Right.
we have to continue that spirit of the conversation. And if you can really do that well with automations, and you can do that well in text, whether you're doing a text and an email, if you're really good at writing that stuff, like you're reading a book that's a barn burner, then yeah. But if you can't, you might want to get on the phone. And that's what I'm thinking. I want my team to be on the phone more. I think we could get things done faster on the phone. And it drives me nuts when I'm talking with the team, and all of a sudden they start texting or emailing. It's like, how about this? Why don't you just call? Just call them.
You and I are not afraid of the phone.
No, used to be.
We just used to be. Um, I think people are afraid of the phone. I think people
Of
prefer
course.
the age,
Mm-hmm.
prefer texting, email, and when, like you say, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we just pick up the phone and call them? And I've had this kickback before. It's like they like communicating in email. How do you know that? Because that's
Yeah.
how they're communicating. It's like, yeah, but here's like, do this, just do me the favor. Just pick up the phone and call them.
Just call. Yeah.
Just call and let's get it over with, because this and Micah has this thing where he won't send back and forth text 5 times. There's no sense in it. Pick up the phone and call, because something's going to be misunderstood and miscommunication.
Yeah.
Just have that talk. So the communication level that we were missing, it was just the last minute communication. So everything from inception of the first phone call, the first shinfu, working them through the process, becoming maintenance customers, and these were just maintenance. These were not construction jobs, that we were falling short. And like I said, it was all the same. It wasn't like two people were like difficult and they were old and they were like mean people. This was people that were been with us for multiple years,
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 years, saying, "Hey, you guys just, oh, hey, that's why I left the last company." Like, holy shit, no, we got to stop this. Because you and I have a cost to obtain these customers for marketing, and when we finally capture them, when they become part of our company, our
Mm-hmm.
business, we don't want to let them go because they feel we don't love them, because we don't talk to them the way the other company used to. You know what I mean? I don't want to leave that. So finding the loopholes and finding where we missed this is not a one person figuring out thing. It's a team thing. And I think that's what you're going to do, is you're going to be talking to your team. Hey, here's where we
Yeah.
fell short, and I'm opening, letting everybody behind the curtain. It's like, why are the technician is not calling the clients a day before. And they had a legitimate answer. It was like, because the schedule changes overnight. I'm like, great reason. Why is the schedule changing overnight?
Yeah.
Oh, because of this. It's like, great. So now my scheduler has a grievance because the job ran longer the day before. It's like, great. Why didn't you know the jobs were going to run longer the day before? Because it wasn't communicated. It's like, it goes around, but keep on backing up. Where did it start? Where did the fire start? Fix it. And don't be in a rush to fill the schedule so freaking tight that if one thing went wrong, everything falls apart. And for what? For a couple of dollars? No.
So what we're doing, Tim, is to tie this in is because everybody's watching YouTube, TikToks, and Instagram. They just see people. So we're doing more video communication. And it's more so than a phone call, because what happens is same as a phone call is we're literally taking 30 seconds and going, hey, Tim, we're at your property today and we got this taken care of. We just want to let you know this is what you need. Or, hey, Tim, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Or, hey, Tim, thank you for sending that voicemail over to me. I understand your concerns. We're going to get that taken care of and we'll see you soon. And now we're using voice and we're using body language, and it's fast. And so what happens is now the clients are going, oh, okay, I'll spin the camera around. I'll send you a little video text back. And you can save those as well. You can put them in your in Jobber. If you're using Jobber, and that's what we use, you can put it in the files there. It's man, this communication, it's so unbelievably key. And I was talking to a friend, and I could tell that she was having a bad day, and she was just very stoic and just didn't want to let it go. And I just kind of just sat with her and went like, okay, I get it. Just having a day. Sometimes I have a day too. And then she opened up a little bit and then asked a question, and we started. And at the end of it, it wasn't that big a deal, and she felt better. But it's just, that's like when I'm understanding just those little small things, just being able to connect with someone and just ask a few questions, meeting them where they're at, having a spirit of the conversation, you'll find out so much more and feel connected. It's the same thing with the customer. It's like sitting with your friend. That's my point. It's this, there's just a human on the other side that just doesn't feel right at the moment. But if you can communicate consistently with a standard operating procedure backed behind that, because all of a sudden, if you go, oh, they need 24 hours notice, do we have an SOP in place to make sure that that happens? And do we have an SOP in place if our schedule has changed to notify them?
Yeah, you got to, you talk about, like, we get the email, we get the texting, we get the phone call. This art, and I feel it's becoming a lost art, is picking up the phone and just telling them. The video thing has paid dividends to me, and I know even on like your emails, was there video at the end of your emails, like a short clip on of YouTube, and that's what I'm going to be doing too. It's like when I ask for photos from people, like, hey, send me some photos. Right, it'll be like a link and all that in the email, but I'm implementing putting a video in there saying, hey, I'm Tim, and I'll be the guy you're talking to when I'm asking for a few photos, because, well, when we get on the phone, I like to have a productive conversation to kind of see what your problem is, or what your situation is, or what your space looks like. So when I talk on the phone, we can both see it together. So I appreciate you. Just click that link below and drop your photos right in there.
Exactly.
But they get to see you, they get to trust you, they get to know you, they know you care because of your voice, and because they know who they're talking to, they can look at it. There's no, and just to say it, I guess, there's no best way to communicate. Do them all.
Just, whatever it is, the people just need to know. And we talk about everybody has a word. And so if I haven't talked about this, Tim, you know this, but if I have not talked about this on our pod or anywhere else, that everyone has a word. And it doesn't take very long for you to figure out what your word is. And your word really drives your why and drives who you are. My word, and I have a couple of them, but my main word is knowing. I like to know things. So if someone's coming to my house, I want to know it. If my team's doing a certain thing, I want to know it. If my family's doing a certain thing, I want to know it. Like, I genuinely want to know, not because, like in business, not because I'm a micromanager, has nothing to do with that. I love my business. I love what I'm doing. So I like to know what my team is doing in the field, because I'm living vicariously through them, because I'm not out there anymore. And I want to see these things. So when I reach out and say, how's the project going? If they say fine, it's like, no, please send me a video. I want to know what's going on. And it drives everything. Like, that is truly my word. What do I know? What do I not know? And what's funny is like I'm not a controlling individual. It's not driven by that. I like results. I'm a very results oriented person. So I like to know what's happening and it drives me. So everybody has a word. You just need to spend some time. Tim, what is your word?
I don't know. We're gonna have to digest this because I have never ever heard that. And I do feel the same way. I don't like to not be in the know. I want to be educated. I want to know. I want to know. I just want to know. I want to know. So if something's not right, I can fix it. Because that's what you and I do. We're fixing problems constantly, and I want to fix it before it becomes a problem. So, Derek, I've never heard this before. I feel like
okay. I just assumed that we've talked about this before.
No, we're gonna have another podcast about this because we're gonna have to dissect you and figure out what's inside of your head because it's something new. Oh boy,
Careful.
yeah, the monkey's getting out. Yeah. Hey, look, guess what? I'm Tim.
I'm Derek.
And we will see you guys next time.